The first place I lived in after I got married, the house was a demonic house. That house, I know how many miscarriages I had in that house. Hello, welcome to Radiant Life with Hope Tasker. Today we'll be talking on and we'll be diving into a very important topic, and that is things you must do. What you must do immediately you move into an apartment, or before you move into an apartment. You're living in a place and you rented a new apartment, or you bought a property. These are the things you must do. Life, we know, is a spiritual place. Life is spiritual. There is nothing that is physical about it. So most of the things you see physically that occur physically has already taken place spiritually. So life is spiritual, and you have to take it that way. Life is a warfare, is a war zone, is spiritual. Now, before you move into an apartment, maybe you've gone to check for an apartment and you see the one you like. Maybe you want to pay for the property, or you want to rent that property for a certain number and a certain period of time. This is something you must do before you move into the apartment, or if you've moved in, before you spend the night in that apartment, you have to pray and dedicate that apartment. You have to pray. Either you call a minister, a pastor, or a priest to pray over that apartment. Whether you like it or not, they are what they call territorial demons to have been assigned to a particular area. Whether it's a virgin house, you don't know the foundation of the house, and you have to be discerning before you pick an apartment. You have to be discerning. You have to discern in the spirit to be sure that that place is where God wants you to be. You have to discern to be sure that that apartment is for you. I remember there was a particular time when we went to move into an apartment. We liked the place. They had steady light, but a man of God saw the place and said, "No, this place is not a fruitful ground. It's not a good ground." And I know what I suffered in the last place I lived. The last apartment I moved out from is the kind of environment where you're moving with a car, you move out without a car. Whatever you come into that environment with, you lose everything at that point in that environment. The environment is a gated environment, looks like an estate, but people don't prosper there. No matter how hard you try, you will not prosper in that environment. You will just be walking like an elephant and eating like an ant in that environment. The heavens were so close that people were suffering, and the environment looks so beautiful, and you're wondering how can such a beautiful place have this kind of embargo? How can such a beautiful place has this kind of thing, and people are still moving in that environment? When I moved that, I said, "God, thank you for saving me from this environment." So you have to be careful. Don't just go and rent a house and go and pay for what you know nothing about. Go and carry on your head what you know nothing about. It's not enough to pay for an apartment. You have to take over that apartment spiritually, because you'll be sleeping there, you'll be staying there, maybe you're moving in with your family. So your children will not carry on their head what they don't know about. As you move into an apartment, you have to make sure that place is sanctified. You have to make sure you pray over that apartment. It's a serious matter, because many people have died because they relocated to an apartment, because they moved into a haunted house. Many people have lost their businesses because they moved into a haunted house. Many people have lost their lives, their family members, because they live in a haunted house. So you have to pray. Number one, you have to dedicate that house. You have to invite Jesus into that house as the Lord and Master of that house. You have to invite. The Bible says the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. So after you pay for that house, you have to use the receipt. You have to pray. So in the spirit realm, there is legalities. The receipt is the legal tender. Say, "This is the receipt of this house. I have paid for it." Either the receipt or the lawyer's agreement, you lift it up, you pray and say, "I have paid for this house. Therefore, I am a legal owner of this house. I am the legal owner of this flat." You use your receipt as a point of contact to which I say, "I am the legal owner of this house." And you have to invite Jesus over to that house. You have to anoint them. A woman shared the testimony, one pastor shared the testimony, so that the place she's living in, that there was a pastor who moved into that environment, and he moved that after 6 months. He said he was being bewitched in that environment, he was oppressed in that environment, that everything he came in that environment, they spoiled, he lost all of them, and he moved that, he ran out of the house and asked for a refund. Now this woman is also a pastor, she moved into the same environment, because sometimes the furniture of the house can be good, but the people living in that house can be agents of darkness. The foundation of the house can be, so not every time there is foundation issue, the foundation of a house can be good, but the people living in that house can be agents of darkness. So she said she moved into that house. Before she moved in, the pastor could not even move out. He only ran out of the house. She managed to pack some of his remaining properties inside one of the rooms, because it was a 3-bedroom flat. She packed it in one of the rooms and she began to pray. Now while she was praying with her prayer warriors, they saw the entry point of that house, the wall, because they have where they enter from. So they did some spiritual assignment on that entry point of the kingdom of darkness, and that was the last time they entered that house. She has lived in that apartment for 2 years. Her business has flourished. She's even expanding her business, but somebody could not stay up to 6 months in that house. Somebody moved out of that same house within 6 months, but she has lived 2 years in that environment. The kingdom of darkness, they thrive when you don't know your place. The kingdom of darkness, they thrive when you don't know your rights as a Christian, as a child of God. When you don't know what to do, they will thrive. Some people think it's a normal thing to just move into a just carelessly rent a house, carelessly move it, and carelessly face the consequences of that environment. They are territorial demons. There was an former occupant of that place. You don't know what the person was doing there. So I recently watched a video of somebody who was showing the house she rented out to somebody, and the person has done some demonic things in the house. Now somebody can go and they draw some demonic writings on the wall, this on demonic painting and demonic pictures on the wall. Now they will repaint that house, and if they don't provide that house, somebody can move into that house and start having. I remember the first place I lived in after I got married, the house was a demonic house. That house, I know how many miscarriages I had in that house. My babies were just flushing as though they were water. The house was a demonic house. So you can live in a demonic, because the owner of the house was an occult man. He was the only person progressing in the house, but the house was beautiful. You would not want to leave the house, but we had to leave. The second place we moved to was a very beautiful place. Within 2 months, we moved into the house. We bought a car. But with time, evil people started entering into the compound. If I had known what I knew now, I would not have left that compound. There was a particular neighbor that entered that terrorized us spiritually, and we had to move because we didn't know what to do. So we had to run out of the place. The kingdom of darkness will thrive when there is ignorance, when you're not aware of what to do. I say we moved into the next place. When we left that place of the occultic man, the man was an occultic man. I lost some babies in that house. My pregnancy was just flushing out as if it was water. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night. One particular miscarriage I had, I woke up in the middle of the night. While I woke up in the night, I saw a cockroach everywhere in the house. The house was filled with cockroach, and I was like, let me carry broom to flog these cockroaches. As I was flogging it, I jumped up, and that was how that one flushed out. Just jumping up to hit one of the cockroaches. Sometimes you wake up, you see cockroaches lined up everywhere in the house. Cockroach will be filled with cockroaches. There was one particular time I was preparing for an exam, and I saw cockroach. I said, let me use an insecticide to kill the cockroach. The insecticide entered my eye. A lot of things happened in that environment that we could not even explain. I was always falling sick. I didn't even have strength to do it. I used to be a very healthy person, but since I moved to that place, I was sick. I'm always sick. But God rescued us from that place. We ran out of that environment. The next place we moved to was a very good environment. You know, a prophet has told us that we have entered this environment, that we should take charge so no evil person will enter. We didn't pray that. We joked with the prayer. The next people that entered that compound were agents of darkness. They made our stay in that environment a very stressful one for us. I became sick. I was even at the point of death. They were manipulating. They were taking my belongings to the kingdom of darkness. They were witches. People that entered that country, 3 of them, 3 unmarried ladies, elderly ladies, married. two unmarried sisters who should be in their 40s, and their mother who ran out of the husband's house. Their mother left their dad. The father married the second wife, and they are in their 40s and they are not married. So I was married, and I was married at a young age, and they were envious of me. I could hear them say things like, "Is that our marriage?" They were never happy about my relationship with my husband. Sometimes I'll be looking for my belongings, I could be looking for my hair tie, I could be looking for things. They tormented me in that way. I say, if I had known what I know now, I don't think I would have made the mistake of leaving that place. There was a particular time I kept on praying that they should move, because I was praying for them to move. I was praying for them to move at a time. And I don't really blame them, because I wasn't strong spiritually. I was joking with my spiritual life. It was a mistake I made, and I will not allow you to make the same mistake. I'm married to a man of God, and because of that, I feel my husband is a covering over me, and because of that, I joke with my spiritual life. So whenever both of us are lying on the same bed, they will leave him and they will come to attack me. I will wake up with mark all over my body. You will never see a single mark on my husband's body. I neglected my spiritual faith because my husband was a pastor, and I felt like, since my husband is a pastor, what's the need of me getting close to God? What's the need of me praying? But I was hiding under my husband's shadow. But they left him and they were attacking me. I said I would never make that mistake again, so I had to stand up and fight for myself. Because when the food is hot, fly cannot perch on it. But when the food is cold, fly want to come and perch on it. If you're hot for God, the devil cannot perch on you. The devil, the kingdom of darkness cannot perch on. I saw them severally. A lot of people had visions of them, and they were the ones attacking me. They wanted to kill me because I was married. My husband was okay. He doesn't want to get me involved in all those kind of battles. We have to move to another place. That place we moved in a place. God expanded us. God gave us. That was where we had our 2 children. God gave us children. But the environment was not good spiritually. Financially, we struggled there. The other place we were sorry financially. This other place we were struggled financially, because the environment is something that people come in with cars and they live without a car. People come in with things and they live without anything. They sell their cars, they come with cars, they live with bicycle. And was here, I heard somebody saying something that there was a particular spot in the junction where they do their meetings. People were just dying anyhow. The environment was no longer healthy, so we had to move. Because we had issues with water, we always flooded. The environment our house was always flooded, so we had to move out of that environment. Now fast forward to where I'm living now. I moved into a place, and before I came into this place, when I came into the place, I didn't really like it, but I knew that God promised me. God made a promise to me, and when I came into that place, I confirmed the promise God made to me, and God told me that He was going to go with me. And when we came to this, we paid for this place. We like the place, pay for it, and they wanted to refund us our money. We stood our ground and said no, our money will not be refunded. We're going to move into this place, because we have looked for houses. We've been searching for house since May, and this was October ending, and they're saying they're going to refund us our money. We said no. We moved into this place November. Now when we moved into this place, the first night I spent in that environment, I had a vision, open vision, because I had the spirit of discernment, and I saw a group of mosquitoes flying into the bedroom where we were sleeping. I woke up and I said, the first thing I entered my mind was there was a witch around this environment. Maybe there's an agent of darkness around this environment. I kept quiet. I just told my husband about it. He smiled, and we kept quiet about it. The next day, that was when we moved in on a Saturday. On Monday, he was going to work. Some neighbors stopped him on the road, and I asking him, "Did you hear any sound? Did you hear any sound?" He said, "No, he did not hear any sound." He said, "There is a sound. There's this sound we used to hear every night, and it became worse when you moved." My husband said he did not hear any sound. He said, "What about your wife? Did you hear?" I said, "My wife, we slept well. We did not hear any sound. Honestly, we did not hear any sound." So what happened was that my husband said he didn't hear any sound, but I noticed that at night I was praying, and I heard someone pounding. I felt like maybe somebody was cooking, but I didn't take it to heart. So they were hearing sound. So my husband asked them to describe the kind of sound. They couldn't describe it. My husband said, "Oh, don't worry, light has come into the environment. Every darkness we live," and that was what he declared. So I noticed that one night while I was praying, I heard that pounding sound. I just waved it that maybe somebody is cooking. I waved it out. But my husband said he had they say something dropped in his spirit, that their power has failed them. That their power has failed them. Their strength has failed them. Now they don't sleep. They said they almost knocked our door at night to check if we heard the sound. My husband said we did not hear. So we slept, and they said they have somebody we're suspecting. So I thought it was around, but I realized that a witch in another environment cannot come to another place to to perform or to oppress people in that place unless there's a legal grant, or maybe somebody, the witch in that place, invites that person. It's usually the witch in an environment that attack people in that environment, and they've caged them and they've been living under fear. I know somebody who was staying with them, and the person kept on giving me stories of how they were not sleeping at night, how they were always praying, getting up to pray. They would be hearing different sounds. One particular day I was sleeping, I was praying in the living room, and I felt this kind of sound from a ceiling that is close. Sound poured over my body. I got angry and I did some declaration. I did some spiritual assignment. The place where I noticed was their entry point. I did some spiritual, because I know their entry point. I did some spiritual assignment in that place, and that was the end. One particular night I couldn't sleep. I kept on seeing my wall looking like a window, and a woman, the window, as if somebody was opening the curtain of my, and I live in an upstairs, so somebody cannot climb and open the curtain. I kept on seeing that. I saw it like 3 times. At the end, I saw a wall, my wall, looking like a window, and somebody peeping into it. That's a monitoring spirit. That means somebody is monitoring my house, monitoring my affairs, monitoring what is going on in my house. So I woke up that day. I was unsettled in my spirit. I was like, how can such a thing happen around me? I'm a child of God. This cannot happen. So I declared. So while I was reading my Bible, I got a prayer from God. He said I should declare access denied. So I got to that wall. I placed my hand on that one. I declared that Satan, over my house, I use this wall of contact to reach out to every wall in my house, over my house, over my flat. I decree access denied to the kingdom of darkness. And every eyes that is monitoring my house, I command your eyes to go blind. That was the end of that dream. Now, the testimony I'm trying to share is that because we took charge of this environment where we are living, even our neighbors and people who live around us are now sleeping peacefully. No more sounds. You can sleep at night and you will not hear once, you will not hear the drop of a pin. You will hear the drop of a pin because everywhere is peaceful. Now, I took time to ask the person that was living with them. I said, "You people still hear sound?" They said, "No, they don't hear sound. They go and now they're sleeping peacefully." And one beautiful thing is that there was this house abandoned near our house, next compound after my house. See, as we moved into this place, there is now development going on there. People were living their bacha. They've chased them out, and there is a building project going on there within a space of 1 month. As I'm talking to you now, they are building on that land. Why? Because light has come. Child of God, don't be scared. They are agents of darkness. They are kingdom of darkness. We know, but the Bible says we wrestle not against flesh and blood. And the Bible says the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they are not carnal, but they are mighty through God in the pulling down of strongholds. God has given us authority in the name of Jesus to pull down every stronghold. As you go to that environment, you have to take charge. Don't let anything be happening around you and you're acting as if you're not a child of God. Take charge. Stand in the place of prayer. Burn the midnight candle. Go on a fasting. Pray. Disarm the kingdom of darkness, because if you don't attack, they will attack you. Don't be on the offense. Don't be on the defensive. Be on the offensive. Be on the offensive in the kingdom of darkness. Offend them. There is no prayer that is, you can say, I'm a gentle Christian. It's not like gentle Christian. No, you cannot be a gentle Christian in this wicked world. You can never be a gentle Christian in this wicked world. You have to take your place as a child of God and be on the offensive. If this video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Like a video. I would like you to leave a comment section. Are you experiencing any spiritual warfare? Leave a comment for me. I will tell you what to do. If this video was helpful, give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. I will see you in my next video.